We are adding another clone to our Black Series lineup, but is he any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at Star Wars The Black Series Clone Commander Bacara from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. I pre-ordered this guy from Hasbro Pulse EU, but I'm afraid that he is sold out, so in case you want to get him, you'll have to find him somewhere else. Now, I have to say that I recently took a step back on clone figures, but I couldn't pass on Bacara because, well, he is a known character and he looks different enough to stand out on the shelf. So, let's get started. As always, first a quick look at the packaging. It's a standard Black Series box with a big window in front showing the figure and the two weapon accessories. We have Star Wars The Black Series Revenge of the Sith Clone Commander Bacara, and he is number 2 in Revenge of the Sith lineup. Palpatine was actually number 1, and here on the side art we see Bacara, but we also see the sleeve of Palpatine. So those two go right next to each other in this side art mural, and then here is the back of the box with that same illustration and a short bio. Down here we have some warnings, information, nothing special on this side of the box or on the top, or information on the bottom, but now let's open it up and let's take a look at the figure. I should also point out that there is a nice Geonosis backdrop behind the figure. Here is Clone Commander Bacara out of the box. The sculpt and proportions look good. It's your standard most recent clone trooper body that we know that has a nice range of movement, so we know what to expect from this figure. Other than the add-ons, the only big difference here is the helmet that, in this case, doesn't have a head underneath. This is your old school way that Black Series used to make their clone trooper heads. I'm sure that those who don't like to see the chin peeking under the helmet will be satisfied with this choice. Bacara is around 15 centimeters tall, and while I do like how this guy looks, there's something about the clean whiteness of his armor here. I wouldn't even say is that the reason I want it to be weathered or battle damaged. I don't mind a clean armor on my trooper figures, but I feel like it looks too plasticky, too toyish. I don't know, maybe it's because of this piece here. This detail looks weathered, it has some shine, and even the painted line is scratched and damaged. Maybe that detail highlights the contrast and makes the rest of the figure look too plasticky for me. Whatever the case may be, if it keeps bothering me, I can always apply some weathering and fix the problem myself. Taking a closer look at the details, here is a better look at the helmet. Now, I'm not a huge expert for armor details, weapons and so forth, but I've heard a lot of people complaining about the missing details above the visor. Namely, you can see the two dots even on the artwork on the box. See it here? That is missing on the figure. To me, that's not a big deal, but I just wanted to point it out. The shape of the helmet also maybe looks a bit too wide in comparison to that artwork, but the sculpt is nice and unique, and I like it. Here is how the helmet looks from the back, and then from this side with the antenna. The rest of the body is what we saw many times before. New add-ons are these straps going across the chest and over his shoulder, and here on the back. We already saw this detail, but here is a closer look at it, and you can see how shiny that looks, weathered, and much more realistic in comparison to the rest of the figure. Then we have a shoulder pauldron here, and all of that goes behind the belt in front and in the back. And down here we have these two straps connected in the middle of the belt, and they go behind this soft goods comma. And in most cases I prefer fabric over plastic, so this is one of those cases, and I'm satisfied that they decided to go with fabric instead of plastic. As I said, most of this figure is your standard clone body, and I assume that a lot of us know what to expect out of it. Let's now take a look at his accessories. And as most of your clone troopers, he comes with a standard blaster that has no weathering on it. It's a sculpt that we saw many times before, and then of course you get his longer blaster rifle, again a sculpt that we saw many times before, no weathering, but it's a standard for all your clone troopers. Let's now take a look at his articulation. As already mentioned, there is no head underneath, so the helmet is on a ball peg, and that gives you a decent range of movement. The head can rotate side to side. There is almost no tilt here. He can't look down much. This is as far as the helmet goes. And then up, it's the same thing. He can't look up practically at all, so you're basically getting straight look like this. We have a nice butterfly joint, but even with that, this is how far the arms go across the chest. This is how far they move across the back. Arms rotate 360, and this is a softer plastic, so it goes out of the way. This is how far they move out. And then we have a bicep swivel, another swivel in the elbow, double jointed bend, a swivel in the wrists, and a trigger finger hand has the up and down hinge, while the gripping hand has the in and out hinge. There is a single cut in the torso up here, and this is where you will get your side to side rotation and a little bit of tilt, but all of that is kind of limited because of the strap that goes over the chest piece. So because it is connected to the belt, everything kind of limits the movement of the torso. But he bends forward only slightly, back is also really limited. This is how far he can spread his legs, and this is how far they move forward and back. We have a thigh swivel, a swivel in the knees bent this much, no swivel in the ankles, feet bent forward and back. We have a nice ankle pivot and pec holes at the bottom of his feet. And just a quick step back, I was wrong about the rest of the body being same as your usual Clone Trooper figures. The overlay piece, the chest overlay piece, is obviously different here on the back. As you can see, the design is different, so he has another one of these, whatever these are, some kind of detonators or whatever. He has one of those up here as well. And then the console, and then these two pieces that are missing on your standard Clone Trooper. And you can see the difference in the whiteness of the plastic. This one is like pure white. I mean, it's still, you know, a toy, but it doesn't look as plasticky for some reason as this guy, at least to me. This one is kind of creamish, almost yellowish white, I'm not sure. And this is the same line, so I don't know why they are using two different whites here, but it is what it is. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. Here's how he scales with your classic Black Series Stormtrooper, and we just saw this guy. And on the other side we have the Vales toy store from AliExpress, their Dooms unit clone, one of them. I've made a review for 6 versions of these figures that they have in their store. These guys are the superior Clone Trooper figures because of the updated articulation, the whole range of movement, and the amount of accessories that you get. But you guys probably know all of that, you probably saw the review. If you haven't, check it out. I have 2 of those videos, 3 of the figures in each of them, and I'll link both of those videos down in the video description in case you want to check it out. Here is how he scales with 2 older Black Series figures. We have Rex and Cody, and this is the older Cody. I have the new one, I still have to open it up and review it, but here is how these 3 guys look together. Here is how he scales with the Black Series Clone Wars versions of Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then here he is next to the Black Series Vader and Stormtrooper. And then to compare him to some other figures, here is how he scales with Marvel Legends, X-Men 97 Wolverine and Symbiote Spidey, and then original Mayfax Classic Suit Spidey and Daredevil. Here he is next to the SH Figure Arts Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and Sentinel Peter B. Parker, and then with City Toys knockoffs of Mayfax Brown Suit Wolverine and The Amazing Spider-Man. And then we have some Rivaltech knockoffs. This is City Toys Agent Venom and AliExpress knockoff of 2.0 Deadpool. And then to compare him to some larger figures, here is how he scales with NECA TMNT movie Raphael and Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man. Here he is next to Savage Crucible Veteris Repax and NECA Feral Predator from Prey. And finally, here he is with YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series Optimus and Starscream. So there you go, that was my look at Star Wars The Black Series Clone Commander Bacara from Revenge of the Sith. There's not much more to be said about this figure. It's another clone that we are adding to our ranks, and it's on the best clone body Hasbro made to date. I like how the helmet looks even with its flaws. I don't like the plasticky look of the armor. Hasbro has stopped doing weathering on these figures a long time ago, but as I said, I can always do that myself. Do I recommend this guy? Yeah, I do, if you can find him for a good price. He has a unique look and he will bring to the variety of clones on your shelf. But these were all just my thoughts, and now I would love to hear yours. What do you think about this figure? Do you have it or do you plan on getting it? Let me know all of it down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.